As I begin this recording, a friendly reminder to please keep your audio and video disabled. Nothing that you put in the chat will appear in the recording. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Ashley, you're welcome to take over.
Good morning, everybody. We're not going to need any special props today. It's just going to be a nice regular chair yoga class. We'll do a sit, stand, sit format, and there will be some specialty breathing, as Brooke said. So let's come on into the chair here. And hopefully your feet can be on the ground in your chair. That's preferable. And if they don't touch the ground, then getting a little something to put underneath your feet, not a bad idea. You can have a cushion behind you or under you. That's absolutely okay. But find yourself in a position that you kind of like here for a little while. And let your hands rest in your lap, palms up. We're going to start with that today. All right. Now, when we stand, we come into a pose called mountain pose. We also do it when we sit. So we're going to try and find a very steady, stable, seated position here. So check out how your feet are on the ground and make sure they're right underneath your knees. And then have your knees come straight out of your hip sockets. That way they're not too far in or too far out to where there's a little to no grip through the hips. And then take a little moment to soften through your hips a bit. Now you're sitting up nice and tall, so shoulders are over hips. The shoulders are also over the elbows, so the arms feel pretty neutral. And take a quick moment to notice if you're leaning forward. If you are, go ahead and sit back so you're just sitting up. Relax through your face, especially around your mouth and jaw. Let your shoulders start to settle into a nice position that this feels kind of okay for now. As we go through the practice, don't let your yoga hurt any worse than you already feel. If you feel really good, then yoga just plain shouldn't hurt. Take a moment to notice your breathing. See how the breath is shaping up right here, right now. When we observe something, typically we change it. You probably made a nice positive change and made your breath a little longer. That. And see if you can get the breath to fill up through the belly and around the ribs and in the chest, even in the back body. If you're leaning against something, you might really feel that movement of expansion into inhale and softening into exhale. If you're free sitting, just kind of up, then you can expand out all your sides. Come back in. You want a nice, long, smooth breath without any force. Now go ahead and place that relaxed tongue you've got right at the top or bottom gum line. Just put the tip there a little bit. You're creating a seal, a mudra. Keep that going as your tongue stays relaxed and your throat stays open and your breath simply flows. I'm going to ask you to start wiggling your fingers. I'm going to have you do it for what's going to seem like a really long time. Look at the thumb. It's like you're trying to tickle something. You're just wiggling your fingers here. And if you keep all that awareness with that wiggle, you might notice that some interesting sensations start to happen in your hands. Maybe things get warmer. Maybe your hands are a little fatigued, ready. You can always slow down or stop for a moment. But if you can, keep going. You might notice that your forearms are kind of kicking in. Maybe you're already past your elbows with your awareness of your arms kind of getting warmed up and stimulated here with the finger wiggling. This stimulates the nerves all the way through the shoulders, through the neck, and on up into the brain. Breath going. Keep your hands moving. And then stop. All awareness still with your hands and your arms. See if there's any residual sensation. There may not be, and it's okay. Keeping the body in this position, let's go ahead and loosen up the neck a little bit. So when you inhale, go ahead and turn your face over to the right. Then when you exhale, turn your face over to the left. Your chin stays parallel to the ground. You just do a very slow shake of the head. Try to keep your torso steady. So don't let your shoulders twist or your body or anything like that. Just let the head move. Now, when your face turns over to the right the next time, don't rush to get there. Just start nodding your head yes. You do want to explore your range of motion over here without any cranking. So really point the nose up to the ceiling and then see if you can get your chin to tuck down towards your chest a little bit. Just notice how your neck is feeling here. Okay, let's try the other side. So bring your chin parallel to the ground and go ahead and turn the face all the way over to the left. And then that same nod, yes. It's any different over here. That's very possible. Okay, when your chin comes parallel to the ground the next time, go ahead and let your face come forward. Pause for a moment. See if you can relax your shoulders a little bit. We're going to go ahead and move our arms out, just out from the body at an angle. Okay, we're going to do what's called shoulder flossing. So take a look over at your right hand and turn it palm up, thumb back. And then take a look over at your left hand and turn it the opposite way so that palm is up and thumb is back. Okay. Now look forward and find something uninteresting to look at and start to rotate your arms in the opposite direction. Now, of course, if your arms don't want to go in the opposite direction, then let them go in the same direction at the same time. If they'll go opposite, then let that happen. Breath slow and steady. This is what's affectionately called shoulder flossing. There are a bunch of different ways to do it. All right, let's stop. Let your hands come down in your lap again and rest your arms for a moment. And again, notice if there's any kind of residual sensation. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Move towards the front edge of your chair here, not teetering, but just come a little closer to the edge so you've got some space behind you. I'm going to start a twisting action here. So take your fingertips to your shoulders, elbows are out wide, relax your shoulders down, and then start making backward circles with your elbows. So look at it like this. Eventually, we're going to turn it into a bit of a backstroke. So have your elbows go in that direction. So it's like you're doing a backstroke. We are going to turn it into a twist. A little asymmetrical action going to happen here in a second. Keep an eye on your breath. All right. The next time you inhale, go ahead and twist right and do that right elbow. And then go over to the left as you exhale. Get this little twisting action. Your face is going to go with you. You're not keeping your head forward. Fingertips are still somewhere near the shoulders. We'll extend in a second. All right. So if it's a good idea for you, let your right arm extend out as you twist now. Still keeping that slow, even breath going on. However, it works with your movement. Don't let any repeat popping happen or anything like that. Gentle here. Go ahead and do one more on the right, one more on the left. And when you're all done, let your hands come back to your lap and pause. Keep breathing. Okay, go forward and back with a little bit of seated cat-cow and see if we can get the tissues through the torso to loosen up a little bit more. So hands to knees, the inhale arches the back so your face turns up to the ceiling. And then when you exhale, you round your back and draw your chin in. I'm going to turn sideways so maybe you can get a better view of that. One little trick here, or a little tip. See if you can rock on your hips before you move your head. Do a few more like this. Two more inhales and exhales. No rush. When you're done with both, simply sit up tall and pause for a moment. Relax your arms, relax through your shoulders. See if you can soften your face some more, or maybe relax your jaw a little more. We're moving to a little bit of side bending now, so make sure you feel pretty stable in your chair. Point your fingers down at the ground. When you inhale the next time, take your right arm up in the air and look up at your hand. When you exhale, lean over to the left, make a fist, pull yourself back, look up, spread your fingers, take your hand back down. All right, switch over to the other side. Inhale, take your left arm up in the air. Lean over to the right, look down, make a fist with your hand. Pull yourself back to center, look up, spread your fingers, hand comes down. Okay, repeating that. Inhale, the opposite arm comes up. Lean over, look down at the ground, make a fist with your hand and pull yourself back to center. Release your hand, arm comes down. Keep doing that. Now, something that I want you to look for here as you're doing this is what happens in your side bend. Keep that action going with your hand. That's just a little ancillary joint. When you lean over, notice what engages on your side body away from, the bend, and how you have to stabilize yourself with your hip all the way up into your shoulder, maybe even all the way down into your legs. Get yourself to come back. Well, I'm going to try and have that make a little bit more sense here. We have to reach out, be stable, grab what we want, and come back with success. All that in mind. Try another one each side. When you're done with your left side the next time, let your hands rest in your lap and pause for just a moment. Notice how you're feeling. Breath. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of cross patterning with the brain now. You can stay forward in your seat or sit back a little bit, but find some place stable and comfortable. We're going to alternate the lifting and lowering of the legs and arms. So put your fingers down at the ground. And when you inhale, extend your right leg forward and take your left arm up in the air. And when you exhale, bring it all back down. And then the next time, do it left leg, right arm, and take it all back down. And alternate like that. Now, when we were doing the flossing, I said, okay, if your arms don't want to go opposite, that's fine. But for this one, really try to do it opposite. Have the opposite arm and the leg lifting up. If it's really giving you some fits and the same one wants to do it at the same time, that's all right. But this is something that I want you to practice. Very good for the brain. Get a good full breath going on. I'm going to do a few more. One more each side. When you're done with both, just pause, take a little stillness in the center. Just notice how you feel and notice your breathing. Okay, we're going to stand up and we're going to hover over the chair before we do it. So come to the edge of your seat and put your feet underneath you, but make sure they're in a really good, stable position. You're going to take your hands to your knees. Lean forward, lift your tush up just a little bit so you can come into a space where you're just hovering over your chair. So you're doing chair pose over your chair. Pull your belly in so you're connected through your middle there. Take one more breath. And then stand on that. Ooh, take a little wiggle if you want to. Manipulate yourself in your chair in whatever way so that you are standing with your right hip against your chair. Now I'm going to do it the same way. So the right hip and the right hand are going to be on the chair. Step your right foot forward and your left foot back a little bit. We're going to do warrior one. So the right foot's going to face forward and the back foot, the left foot, is going to face off at an angle. Square your chest as best as you can to the wall in front of you. When you inhale, bend your knee and take your left arm up in space. And when you exhale, straighten your leg down. Now, the next couple of times you do that, I want you to look down at your knee and your ankle. And if your knee is going way past your ankle, then move your foot forward a little bit more. Try and stack the knee right over the ankle as best as you can. A couple more in motion. Leg stays steady. It's not really doing anything except anchoring the pose. All right, let's hold this. So when you bend your knee the next time, take your arm up in the air. Pause there, relax your shoulders, pull your belly in a little bit. And if you want to challenge your balance, put one finger on your chair. If you want to challenge your balance more, take both arms up. Take your right hand back to the chair. Straighten your right leg, release your left arm. Take your left hand to your left hip, keep your legs straight, and lean forward, bending at your hip crease, and coming out over your extended right leg here. Your chin and neck are nice and neutral, and possibly felt a pretty juicy stretch happen in this front leg. Keep that breath flowing. Relax your shoulders and your jaw. Now put a little bend in the knee as you inhale and come on up to vertical. All right, set your feet together. Try and stand on one foot for a moment. The right hand in the chair. Okay, so looking at the ground, it's something interesting. Move your weight into your right leg and float your left knee up in the air in front of you. So you have a bend at your ankle, your knee, and your hip. Keep your hand on the chair for now, but if you want to challenge balance, you can always take it off. Extend your left arm straight out in front of you like you're pointing at a clock. It's 12 o'clock here. Relax your shoulders. Pull your belly in a little bit. Be stable there. Now move your left arm out to say 9 o'clock. All right? Just straight out from the shoulder, parallel to the ground. Now keeping the palm open, you're going to try to extend your arm back behind you, pointing more towards 6 o'clock, but it might be more like 7. That's okay. Don't twist open. Keep your chest forward. Keep your gaze forward. Now take your arm back to 9 o'clock. And then take your arm back to 12 o'clock. And then come back to both feet. We're going to switch around to the other side and do those things. So, putting your left hand on your chair. Step your left foot forward and your right foot back. Warrior one, we're starting off with. Back foot is at an angle. Here we go. Bring the arm up, bend the knee, take the arm down, straighten the leg. And you get to take a look at your knee for the first couple of them. Make sure this is a good stance. And then when you get where you want, do it a couple more times with your breath. And remember, your back leg stays really strong and stable here. When you inhale the next time, go ahead and settle on into your warrior one. And same thing, you can just put one finger on the chair or maybe take the other arm up. Feel connected with your center though, so draw in a little bit. As you inhale, go ahead and straighten your leg. Take your hand to your hip and then lean forward, just bending at the hip crease, long, long spine. You're not trying to round down. Your legs are very active here. And I hope you're getting a good stretch in this front leg someplace. And if it's not a big, juicy stretch, then know that you are really getting some good strength built up because your feet are really rooting into the ground. And there's a fair amount of load going on here. Engagement. All right, wait for your inhale. Put a little bend in your knee. Come back up. And then step your feet together. Yeah, see about balancing on this side. So again, you got to look at the ground at something uninteresting, something not moving. Be really stable through your feet. And then you're going to float your right leg up in the air now. Your ankle's bent, your knee is bent, your hip is bent. Extend your right arm in front of you, pointing to 12 o'clock. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Now take the right arm straight out from the shoulder and point it to 3 o'clock. Now let's see about this one going back, pointing more towards 6 o'clock. It might be more like 5. That's always okay. You don't want a big giant twist. You want to try and keep your chest forward, your gaze forward to see where the arm will go. Let's come back out of it. So point your fingers back towards 3 o'clock. Relax your shoulders. And back to 12 o'clock. Arm comes forward. And back to both feet. Wiggle if you want to. Pause for just a moment, standing. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Okay, turn to face the back of your chair. We're going to wake up the back chain a little bit with something that's very simple but incredibly effective. So holding on to the back of your chair, directly underneath you. You're going to inhale, come up on your toes, lift up as high as your feet will let you, and then exhale, put your heels on the ground, and then push your push back behind you. So bend your knees and your hips. And this is the move. So inhale, come on up, and then exhale, heels down, push your the connective tissue that connects our back body starts at our feet and goes all the way up around the back of the head and ends at the front hairline. So when we do this incredibly simple move, it strengthens and stimulates that entire back chain from the feet up to the head. And it might sound really simple, but this is one of those things that's going to keep us on both feet as we start tallying birthdays. Or even if you're ignoring birthdays. Let's do a couple more. The idea of simple but effective in mind. Last one, heels down, push to the front. And then just come up. Pause for a minute. I'm going to try a really nice back bend here. Hands are going to stay on the chair. Looking forward for now, put your left toes on the ground behind you, and you're going to keep your legs straight for this. Now, lean back a bit, and your gaze is going to come up. Relax your shoulders, engage that right leg, and lift your left leg up just enough to slide a piece of paper underneath your big toe. But your leg stays straight, so don't bend the knee. And you might have noticed some pretty interesting things kicking in. I'll bring that all right back to just a second. Notice how it feels to redistribute the weight. Try the other side. You're looking forward for now. And then take your right leg back behind you so your toes touch the ground. Get the legs straight. Lean back a little bit so you get to look up. And then without bending the knee, lift that right leg up. Again, just enough to slide a piece of paper under your big toe. Doesn't have to be far for that back body to go, wow. And then release all that back to both feet, redistribute the weight, and pause for a moment and just stand. We're going to do something that counterposes that. We're going to step back into a big inverted L. All right, so keep your hands on the chair. Step your body back. Have your feet underneath your hips. See if your head will come between your arms. It might not. That's okay. You're just going to look down at the ground and hopefully feel long through your torso. And if you got any kind of crunching through your low back from what we just did, hopefully this will mitigate that. Now make your way back forward. And we're going to do one more thing before we sit back down. All right. Now, it's going to entail a leg lifting out to the side, and then I want you to rotate it open. And I hope you're going to be able to see a little something from this here. So when you inhale the next time, extend your right leg out to the side, and you might even take a look at your foot. Rotate your toes open so they point up to the ceiling, and then point them back forward and bring your foot back down. And then it's going to go over to the other side. So you take your left leg out, rotate open, rotate toes back forward, feet come back together. Okay, it's kind of a lot, so be careful. Out to the side, rotating, toes point back forward, foot comes back down. And really pay attention, don't go fast. Pay attention to how you're lifting and lowering. Pay attention to how the weight redistributes across, one foot and then the other, and that leg engages to get you to stand. This kind of rotation we do not do very often. Now you might put your ankle on your knee in a figure 4 shape or something like that. But it's usually kind of relaxed when that happens. Fully engaged here. One more each side. Not a rush, because when you're done with both, just stand and hold on to your chair and notice your legs. Keep a good steady breath happening. And we're going to sit back down, but get to hover again before that happens. So stand in front of your chair, put your feet together, hands to your knees, bend your knees, and come to that point where you're just hovering over your chair with not a lot of strain. You're not at your maximum. Pull your belly in so the middle stays connected. Keep your breath going. Now, the whole thing is to just be able to sit into your chair instead of fall into it. So let's practice that. Sit in the chair. Hey. All right, put those feet back underneath the knees. Take a little second to notice how you're feeling. You might close your eyes and just pay attention to your breath. We're going to do a little bit of twisting. That's also going to work the arm and the neck. It's going to be our last active pose before we go into a nice relaxation. So take your left hand and bring it palm up on your left leg. And then extend your right arm out from the body parallel to the ground. And take a look at your right hand. Relax your shoulders. Your inhale happens here so that when you exhale, you'll take your arm and arc it in front of you. And then reach over to that left shoulder, touch it, and look down. And then you'll bring your head back up when you inhale and open up with the arm again. All right, so that's the move. Let's keep going. The exhale closes the body. You touch your shoulder and you look down. And the inhale opens the body, extending the arm, and let your face follow your hand. Whether your eyes are opened or closed, just let the face follow the hand. And the next time that the hand comes over to touch the shoulder, don't rush to get to this position. I want you to pause there and continue to look down and make sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed. And pay attention to, how about the right side of the neck? That might be where you're getting the most glaring sensation, but I want your awareness to drift to wherever you feel it the most and see if you can start to relax those spaces consciously, or just at least notice that juicy stretch. Because it could go up into the back of your head or maybe down along your ribs someplace, not just the neck. Now, when you inhale the next time, bring your head up, extend your arm, open up, go ahead and open into your twist. Pause there, relax your shoulder. And then come on back to center. Hang out for just a little second. Let's try the other side. So now, right hand is up, back of the hand resting on the leg. Extend your left arm out to the side here, parallel to the ground. You're taking a look in the direction of your left hand. Relax your shoulders. Now you're going to wait for your exhale to happen and take the hand, arcing it through space in front of you. Touch the right shoulder and look down at the ground. And then the inhale opens you back up, extending the arm. Your face follows your hand. Keep that going. Just noticing your breath, noticing your movement, and maybe noticing there's a little difference over here. There's no rush to get here, but the next time that your hand comes over and touches your shoulder, go ahead and pause, looking down, and take a couple of good, yummy breaths. Relax through your shoulders. See what's happening on this side. Are the sensations any different? Are they similar? Now, when you inhale again, float your head up, extend the arm, open up and stay open for just a moment. Relax your shoulders. And then bring it all right back to center. Go ahead and sit back in your chair in such a way that you feel as comfortable as you can in the chair that you have available. And one more time, we're going to go over that whole seat. Make sure your feet are on the ground, ankles under knees, knees coming straight out of the hip sockets so you don't have to grip through your hips. Bring your fingertips to touch in front of you and let your hands rest in your lap someplace. You can sit back in your chair or sit up. Let the hips be under the shoulders and let the elbows be under the shoulders. With the fingertips touching, I'm going to try and bring the body into a nice balance. And the touching of the fingertips is a symbol for that left and right thing coming together in balance. Let your awareness drift up to the very top of your head. Right there, the very top of your head. You notice any sensations? Could be nothing. Maybe there's just a little tiny something. Your awareness drift from the top of the head down out to the sides of the head, around the temples, starting to relax a bit. Relax the muscles around the ears. Soften the cheeks and the forehead. See if you need to relax your tongue, your jaw. Soften down through your neck, front, sides, back. As you relax your neck, it might feel like you grow a little taller. A moment to notice your right shoulder. Letting all awareness drift into the right shoulder. Are there any sensations in your right shoulder? Let awareness drift over to the left shoulder. Noticing the left shoulder now. Are there any sensations associated with your left shoulder? Notice both shoulders at the same time now, and let them relax. Notice your right elbow, and then notice your left elbow. Let awareness drift down to the right hand. Notice the wrist, palm, the fingers of the right hand. Are there any sensations in your right hand? Let awareness drift to the left hand. Noticing the wrist, the palm, the fingers of the left hand. Are there any sensations in the left hand? Noticing both hands at the same time and how the fingertips touch. What that sensation is. Keep the fingertips touching and see if you can relax your hands a bit. Let awareness drift into your right hip. You notice any sensations around that whole right hip area. Let awareness drift over to the left hip. Taking in any sensations associated with the left hip. There could be none. Notice both hips at the same time. Let them relax. Notice your right knee. Notice your left knee. Awareness down to your right foot. Using the ankle, sole of the foot, and the toes. Notice any sensations in your right foot. Let awareness drift over to the left foot. Noticing the ankle, sole of the foot, and the toes. Taking in any sensations in the left foot. Noticing both feet at the same time. Let them relax. Your awareness drift all the way up to the base of the nose. Let your awareness rest there as you notice the nuance of the breath as it comes and goes. Cool inhales, warm exhales. That flow of breath is all of a sudden the most interesting thing in the room. Be with it for just a moment. Let your next breath get a little bit deeper. See if you can expand into the chest all around the ribs. Let the breath after that do the same thing. Expand through the chest and all around the ribs. Your palms to touch in front of your body and start rubbing your hands together, stimulating that sense of touch. Breath still flowing, noticing the hands, noticing the textures. Now take your hands to cover your eyes, but leave your nose free, and then blink into your hands to let in some light. You can wake up that sense. Now let your eyes close and let your hands come back together in front of your body. Thanks for coming today. Namaste.